if Lyrica's right for you.
Thank you for making News Channel 5 #1 in the morning.
Tonight, a disaster declaration following a wave of killer storms. The deadliest tornado season in a decade shows no sign of letting up.
I've never seen anything like it.
I'm Russ Mitchell. Also tonight, Mission to Mars, the first images. What lies beneath this barren landscape could answer an age-old question about the red planet. Swimming safety. A mother turns her grief into a crusade to prevent new tragedies. And on this Memorial Day, a veteran's final battle to honor the memory of his fallen brothers in arms.
This is the CBS Evening News with Katie Couric.
And good evening. Katie is off tonight. It has been a rough few days in the Great Plains and Upper Midwest. The region has been pounded by storm after storm, including a series of deadly tornadoes. 7 people were killed in Iowa and Minnesota last night. And today, Iowa's Governor Chet Culver declared 3 counties disaster areas. In one small Iowa town, Parkersburg, half the homes were wiped out. And the scope of the tragedy still has not sunk in. Priya David has the very latest.
Rescue workers are clawing through small mountains of rubble, searching for survivors.
I don't even know where to begin, where anybody's going to begin.
Of all the towns devastated by tornadoes in recent days, Parkersburg and nearby New Hartford, Iowa, were hardest hit. Tornadoes killed 6 people there.
All of a sudden, just one massive one just dropped down.
Tim Calder caught one of the twisters on tape.
The scariest thing is when we're outside of town and watching it happen, and our family members are living in town.
More than 400 homes were damaged. 222 of those homes were completely destroyed, and 21 businesses were destroyed as well.
That's the most impressive tornado I think I've ever seen.
Today is the 5th straight day of devastating storms. Thursday, the twisters struck 6 Colorado towns. Friday, 17 tornadoes hit Kansas. Saturday, funnel clouds sent barns flying into pieces in Oklahoma.
I think it's a pig farm.
And Sunday, tornadoes leveled parts of Hugo, Minnesota, killing a 2-year-old child.
All of a sudden the wind picked up and the glass was breaking, things were shattering, and we just went by the furnace and all huddled together.
Already this year, 110 people have died in tornadoes, the most since 1998.
Meteorologists say there have been more than 800 tornado sightings this season, 200 more than last year, and the touchdowns are lasting longer.
The tornadoes that have touched down are generally been moderate to strong tornadoes, and those are tornadoes that produce wind gusts in excess of 130, 150 miles per hour.
So much for the trees.
The storms are expected to die down tonight, but meteorologists point out the most active part of tornado season is still to come. Priya David, CBS News, New York.
Storms are also in the forecast tonight in southern China, where the threat of flooding is adding to the growing humanitarian crisis 2 weeks after that massive earthquake. The death toll is now more than 65,000 people. Another 23,000 are still missing. And even those numbers are tiny compared to the millions left homeless. As Celia Hatton tells us, many of them have nothing and need everything.
Zhang Wenqin has suffered unimaginable loss. The devastating earthquake that shook central China's Sichuan province killed her mother, flattened her apartment, and ravaged her hometown. For the first 2 days, we only had an umbrella and we sat underneath the trees at night, she says. Now, Mrs. Zhang expects to be in Zhujiangyan's tent city for months. She has the basics here, though simple tasks demand patience. Survivors line up for more than an hour to receive a hot meal.
Many here escaped with just the clothes on their backs, but they're thought to be the lucky ones. Millions more have no shelter at all.
In the town of Jiangyo, beach tents are being used to house the homeless. But Lin Junyan and her husband aren't complaining because at least they have each other. They lost their friends and their neighbors in just a few minutes when a landslide buried their home. We don't expect much more than shelter from the sun and the rain, she says. Their requests might be modest, but the government's task isn't. It's struggling to provide an estimated 3.3 million tents to those in need. China's diverted all construction funding, often used for new skyscrapers. Now, that money will be used to help people survive. Celia Hatton, CBS News, Dujiangyan, China.
From tragedy to triumph now, NASA's scientists are ecstatic tonight over the latest mission to Mars. The Phoenix is up and running, all systems go. This is what it looked like as the spacecraft parachuted down to the surface, the image captured from a satellite that's orbiting Mars. Today, Phoenix began sending back pictures of its own. Here's Ben Tracy.
These never-before-seen images of the polar region of Mars may look a little dull, but they're dazzling to scientists who say just getting to the red planet is a long shot. A 10-month, 420-million-mile journey, ending in what they call 7 minutes of terror. Fewer than half of Mars missions survive it. Phoenix blazed into the Martian atmosphere last night at more than 12,000 miles an hour, slowing itself to a picture-perfect landing near the North Polar ice cap.
Phoenix has landed. Welcome to the northern plains of Mars.
So if you're Marvin the Martian and you're sitting there on the planet and you hear this thing coming in, you're going, what the heck is happening?
So what is happening? Scientists are looking for what lies beneath the cracked permafrost.
There's ice under this surface. It doesn't look like you don't see any ice, but it's down there.
Phoenix would be the first space probe to directly touch Martian water in any form. The 7-foot-tall spacecraft will use its arm like a mini backhoe to dig down deep and scrape up ice samples, bringing them back on board for high-tech analysis.
There's a long record of organic materials that's preserved in the ice, just as you preserve organics in the freezer in your kitchen.
Life as we know it requires water and it requires organic compounds. These are the chemicals that make our cells work. You know, where the Phoenix is, they're pretty sure there's ice there under the surface. There may be organic compounds, and if there are, then you really have an environment that could support life, either in the past or even in the present day.
Scientists and engineers here at Mission Control expect to have their first samples back next week. They hope what they learn will tell them where to send future missions, ones that would search not just for water, but for actual signs of life on Mars. Ben Tracy, CBS News, Pasadena.
On the CBS News Money Watch, another record for gas prices. The AAA says the national average is now $3.94 a gallon. That's up 15 cents in a week. And it's over $4 in 11 states, plus the District of Columbia. Those prices reportedly kept a lot of Americans close to home this holiday weekend. And now to the presidential campaign. Today, Barack Obama inched closer to the Democratic nomination, picking up 3 more superdelegates. He needs 57 more delegates to clinch. Hillary Clinton needs 252. And despite having little hope, she continues to battle today in Puerto Rico, which holds its primary next Sunday. Vaya Ashuris reports.
Puerto Ricans can't vote for president in November, and only 55 delegates are at stake in its Democratic primary. But Senator Hillary Clinton is embracing the islanders as potential saviors. Clinton has spent the last 2 days on the island, drinking in the atmosphere and admiration, some El Presidente beer too, campaigning for every vote in Sunday's primary. She seems intent on taking the fight all the way to the convention floor in August.
The clerk will call the roll.
It's been more than half a century since Democrats duked it out past the first ballot. In 1952, Adlai Stevenson was declared the winner after 3 rounds. But does Clinton have a chance in any scenario?
Hillary Clinton has a very slight chance to win, but almost negligible at this point.
Practically zip, because under no circumstances do the numbers add up in her favor. So the Clinton campaign is appealing to superdelegates who don't vote until the convention.
We think she'd be the strongest nominee against John McCain. That's the case we're making to superdelegates.
Not waiting till then, Barack Obama, who's also well ahead in superdelegates, is already acting like the nominee, focusing on John McCain, the presumptive Republican nominee. In fact, both men were in New Mexico today, a key battleground state, come November.
Democrats will meet this weekend to decide whether to seat delegates from Florida and Michigan. Now, that could give Clinton a boost, but not enough to surpass Obama. Russ?
Vaya Ashuris in Washington, thank you. In Iraq, a U.S. soldier was killed this Memorial Day in a roadside bombing north of Baghdad. Since the war began in 2003, 4,083 Americans have been killed there. Back home, President Bush continued a long-standing tradition. He traveled to Arlington National Cemetery, just outside of Washington, to lay a wreath at the Tomb of the Unknowns. And he paid tribute to those who have given their lives for their country.
They found peace beneath the white headstones in the land they fought to defend.
In the meantime, a battle is brewing over the condition of the tomb itself. Chip Reed has that story.
The Tomb of the Unknowns at Arlington National Cemetery has been guarded every minute of every day since 1937. Even when no one's watching, the goal is perfection. The preparation is meticulous. Loose threads are burned. Uniforms are measured to a 1/16 of an inch.
These are the new guys right here.
Sergeant of the Guard, Raymond Malcolm.
You're never going to reach complete perfection, but that's what we strive to do every day.
You can spend hours doing this until it's perfect.
Until it's perfect. I can spend hours, and I probably will.
But there's one thing here that is not perfect. The tomb itself.
Well, the tomb right now has cracks that run all the way around it and are coming around a second time.
Metzler has watched the cracks grow for 17 years and now believes the 48-ton block of marble should be replaced. But many preservationists disagree.
Truth inheres in the original, in the real thing.
Roy Hunt was a young lieutenant aboard the USS Canberra in 1958 as it delivered the remains of unknowns to Arlington. This block of marble, he says, is a national treasure and everything possible should be done to repair it.
What you're seeing is the real thing. You're not seeing some reproduction. It represents something that goes beyond a block of marble.
It's like the Liberty Bell, he says. No one would think of replacing it with a replica. But Superintendent Metzler says there's a difference. The tomb is outside.
We're exposed to all the elements, the freezing and the thawing. The cracks that are in the tomb right now are not stopped. They'll continue to grow. The Liberty Bell crack has been stopped.
Characteristically, the Sentinels are silent on the controversy. They have a job to do, honoring the three unknowns. Chip Reed, CBS News, Arlington National Cemetery.
And there is more CBS News ahead, including a summertime life preserver. How tragedy put this mother on a mission to teach kids how to swim. But up next, the new faces of terror, training in North Africa, but able to blend in here in the U.S.
You're past menopause and treating osteoporosis. Why not ask your doctor about Evista, the only medicine that treats osteoporosis and reduces your risk of invasive breast cancer. Evista does not treat breast cancer, prevent its return, or reduce the risk of all forms of breast cancer. Your doctor can explain all your risk factors for breast cancer, which include advancing age, family history, and personal history. If your osteoporosis treatment can also reduce your risk of invasive breast cancer, raise your hand. Thought not. Evista increases the risk of blood clots and should not be used by women who have or have had blood clots in the legs, lungs, or eyes. Evista may increase the risk of dying from stroke in women at high risk for heart disease or stroke. Seek care immediately if you have leg pain or warmth, swelling of the legs, hands, or feet, chest pain, shortness of breath, or a sudden vision change. Do not use Evista if you're pregnant, nursing, or may become pregnant, as it may cause fetal harm. Women with liver or kidney disease should use Evista with caution. Evista should not be taken with estrogens. Side effects may include hot flashes, leg cramps, and swelling. If you want to treat osteoporosis and reduce your risk of invasive breast cancer, ask your doctor about Evista, one medicine that does both.
Gas relief products come in two types. Those you take after food gives you gas, bloating, discomfort, embarrassment, and it ruins your life. Or take Beano. Tough call. Take Beano before, and they'll be no gas. Now, prevent gas anywhere with new Beano to go.
How can you know for sure that Activia yogurt from Dannon really works? Take your pick. You can ask one of the millions of Americans who already eat Activia every day, or you can check out any one of the multiple clinical studies that have been conducted. Just log on to Activia.com.
With the natural culture Bifidus regularis, Activia eaten every day is clinically proven to help regulate your digestive system in 2 weeks.
Or you could try a more enjoyable research methodology.
He volunteered. We were drafted. She enlisted.
And off we went to Asia.
To Europe.
The Gulf. To do our duty.
Serve our country. We were buddies. Shipmates. Best of friends.
I'll never forget his courage.
Her dedication.
The way he made you laugh.
And I'll remember him.
Remember her.
I'll remember them. Always.
In Iraq today, officials say 6 teenage boys were detained before they could become suicide bombers. One of those arrested told reporters their trainer threatened to attack their families and destroy their homes if they did not obey him. Meanwhile, al-Qaeda continues to regroup with new training camps in North Africa, and it's recruiting young men who have links to Western Europe. It's a terror trail that threatens to lead all the way to the U.S. Bob Orr has details.
These are the new faces of terror. Militants inside an emerging al-Qaeda cell, which U.S. officials warn presents a clear and growing threat to America. Based in North Africa, the group calling itself al-Qaeda in the Islamic Maghreb specializes in kidnappings and suicide attacks. This car bombing last September of an Algerian military barracks killed 28 people. But follow-up bombings of a United Nations building and a diplomatic office signaled that al-Qaeda in the Islamic Maghreb, or AQIM, has bigger plans.
They have devoted an enormous amount of their energy and their resources to try to build this up as a base for carrying out attacks, not just in North Africa, but ultimately into West Europe and someday against North America.
Former CIA official Bruce Rydell says this propaganda video just posted on a jihadist website shows a sophisticated attack capability. But the most lethal aspect of AQIM and its real value for Osama bin Laden's terror network goes beyond firepower.
Leaders of al-Qaeda and its affiliates are extremely interested in recruiting terrorists from and deploying terrorists to Europe, people familiar with our Western cultures that can travel freely.
And that's exactly who's being drawn to the AQIM training camps. People who can easily blend in without raising suspicions in Europe or the U.S.
Some of those people are second, third generation, and they now have French, Belgian, or Spanish passports. And a French or Belgian or Spanish passport is exactly what al-Qaeda is looking for, because that's their mechanism to get into the United States.
U.S. officials have long worried about British radicals using U.K. passports to bring terror to America. But now the North African branch of al-Qaeda presents a second pipeline, a doubled threat to the homeland. Bob Orr, CBS News, Washington.
In Belgium, it is still not clear what went wrong when a 747 crashed and split apart during takeoff. The cargo jet, operated by Kalida Air of Michigan, was leaving the Brussels airport yesterday, headed for the Persian Gulf, when the pilot suddenly aborted the takeoff. In spite of the damage, there were only minor injuries. Coming up, the one lesson every child should learn that could be a lifesaver.
A high-end party planner, a pet sitter, and a beauty technician. The surprising way they're linked together and how it affects your wallet. Tomorrow on the CBS Evening News with Katie Carrick.
Space is infinite, but it's my job to shrink it. I work for an Air and Space Museum, and I take the largest objects in the universe and bring them down in size. So when my doctor said that my going and going could get worse because my prostate was growing, I said, how can we shrink it? He said, Avodart. Avodart is different because over time, it actually shrinks the prostate, so I go less often. Other medicines, they don't treat the cause because they don't shrink the prostate.
Avodart is for men only. Women should not take or handle Avodart due to risk of a specific birth defect. Tell your doctor if you have liver disease. Rarely sexual side effects, swelling, or tenderness of the breasts can occur. Only your healthcare professional can determine if your symptoms are from an enlarged prostate and not prostate cancer. So have regular exams. Ask your doctor about Avodart today. It's your growing problem. It's our job to shrink it. Avodart.
A bad day is when your blood sugar is 30 or 60, when you're ready to go running 5 miles. Oh, it takes a lot of discipline. You can't wish away a hill or a mountain. You can't wish away your diabetes. You have to be ready for whatever life throws at you that morning. Using a blood glucose meter helps me course correct in the middle of a run.
The Contour Meter from Bayer. No coding technology means no coding errors and more confident choices.
My meter is a running partner. I'm Joanna Gary, completing a marathon. Now that's my simple win.
It's time to jumpstart the geraniums and dial up the daisies. It's time to get outside and grow something. It's time to feed your dreams and make what's yours, yours. Miracle Grow Liquifeed Advance. It's grow time.
When people ask me for a recommendation, I suggest a chocolate hand-dipped milkshake. And when people ask me for a recommendation, I suggest a vanilla hand-dipped milkshake.
The side-by-side milkshake. Any two of your favorite classic milkshakes together in one glass. Only at Steak and Shake.
Steak and Shake.
I want that. We'll see.
Did I mention it's 99 cents?
Oh, okay.
Steak and Shake.
With this holiday weekend marking the unofficial start of summer, a lot of kids will be heading to the pool, but some will be wading into danger. A new report says that more youngsters are dying from drowning. In 2005, 319 kids under 5 died in pool and spa accidents. That's 74 more than the previous year. Alarming numbers. But one mother has made it her mission to change them, as Bianca Solorzano reports.
Why isn't it your favorite?
I just like that face. I like that smile. I like he and I there together.
Precious memories for a mother who lost her only son 2 years ago.
Can't even describe how much I miss my son.
In his 16 years, Wanda Butts taught her son John Joshua many life lessons, but one lesson she never thought to teach him took his life.
Taught him to love, give love. Swimming just wasn't one of them. I never learned how to swim.
Out with friends, Josh drowned after his inflatable raft capsized on a Michigan lake. Butts feels she's partly to blame.
It seems as if my dad, when he was younger, saw somebody drown. So that gave him the fear of water, which is instilled in him, and he instilled it in us. And I guess I instilled it in my son. I didn't do it intentionally. I never thought about swimming lessons.
Every day, about 9 people drown in this country. Most of those people are children, and most of those children are minorities. Black children face the highest risk. They are 3 times more likely to drown than anyone.
Can you put your head under and hold your breath for how many seconds?
Butts is on a mission to change that. Just weeks after losing Josh, she turned her pain into action. She started the Josh Project, providing free swimming lessons for inner city kids, something her son never had.
The Josh Project is to save lives, to teach minority children how to swim.
Randall Pryor? Butts runs the program with 24 volunteers. There are 64 kids taking classes now and dozens more on a waiting list. Ready? Before the Josh Project swim lessons, these twin sisters couldn't even float. And now? Who's a better swimmer?
Me.
Through donations, Butts raises $1,500 each month for the lessons. It isn't easy.
Would any of this have happened if you hadn't lost your son?
No, I would have not thought of doing anything like this because I wouldn't have known the need.
And now that she knows the need, Butts says it's her life mission to meet it. Bianca Solorzano, CBS News, Toledo, Ohio.
Off Cape Cod this holiday, Senator Ted Kennedy fulfilled a promise he made to himself in the hospital. 1 week after being diagnosed with a brain tumor, he took part in the Fagawi Regatta. Kennedy took the helm of his own sailboat and told well-wishers it couldn't be a more beautiful day. Next, a veteran gears up for one more fight over one of the bloodiest battles of World War II.
These people, what they're doing is dumping.
When it comes to relieving arthritis pain, you may think some prescription NSAID pain relievers like ibuprofen, naproxen, and meloxicam don't have any cardiovascular risks, but based on the available research, that's not clear. And if you look closer, the FDA requires all these prescription NSAID pain relievers, including Celebrex, to have the same cardiovascular warning. Any prescription NSAID, including Celebrex, may increase the chance of heart attack or stroke, which can lead to death. This chance increases if you have heart disease or risk factors for it, such as high blood pressure or when NSAIDs are taken for long periods. All prescription NSAIDs, including Celebrex, also increase the chance of serious skin reactions or stomach and intestine problems, such as bleeding and ulcers, which can occur without warning and may cause death. With any of these medicines, patients also taking aspirin and the elderly are at increased risk for stomach bleeding and ulcers. All prescription NSAIDs have some of the same warnings, and they all help treat arthritis pain. But since individual results may vary, having options is important. An NSAID like Celebrex may be one option. You also may be surprised to learn prescription Celebrex has never been taken off the market. Actually, based on the available data, The FDA stated that for certain patients, Celebrex's benefits outweigh the risks. But only you and your doctor can make that decision. And if you're concerned about stomach upset, you should know. In clinical studies, a lower percentage of patients taking Celebrex reported stomach discomfort versus prescription ibuprofen and naproxen. What's more, Celebrex can be used with low-dose aspirin. Other prescription NSAIDs aren't generally recommended with aspirin. Celebrex relieves arthritis pain, stiffness, and inflammation. Just one 200 milligram dose provides 24-hour relief. Do not take Celebrex if you've had allergic reactions to aspirin or sulfonamides. For many with arthritis pain, not treating is not an option. Go to Celebrex.com for more information and talk to your doctor about Celebrex and see what's right for you. Understand the risks, see the benefits.
Parents, listen up. If you own a trampoline, we have a word of caution for you and your kids. Safety rules you need to follow. And a look at some mid-state ceremonies honoring our vets at 6.
We leave you this Memorial Day with the story of a memorial still waiting to be built and one solitary veteran fighting to see that his fallen comrades are not forgotten. Here's Bill Whitaker.
I was angry.
At 88, Leon Cooper is fighting another battle of Tarawa.
I walked along the beach, and frankly, I couldn't stop. I was crying.
The first Battle of Tarawa was in 1943, one of the bloodiest of World War II. 1,001 Marines and sailors killed, 2,296 wounded, 4,600 Japanese died there. Leon Cooper's job was to ferry Marines to Red Beach in a landing craft.
It will stay with me for the rest of my life as watching guys being cut to pieces by gunfire. I could hear the bullets whizzing around me. I could see the mortars splashing in the water near me. You can't be careful in battle. You're lucky or you're not. I was lucky. All those guys dying.
But now he's angry at what he saw when he returned to the South Pacific Atoll last February for the first time since the war.
This is a unsanitary desecration of hallowed ground.
What to Cooper was hallowed ground, to the citizens of Tarawa is just the local dump.
The remains of 200 Americans are still on the island.
So this old sailor geared up for battle one more time, on a mission to remove the tons of garbage from the beach and erect a proper memorial to those who died. He met with the president of the island nation of Kiribati.
I'm determined to make this a success.
But he says this is a job for the U.S. government. He says the U.S. needs to pay respect to the fallen by paying for the cleanup.
It's a symbol of our country's neglect, of guys who gave their lives for our country.
He contacted everybody from the White House to the Pentagon to members of Congress.
I got nothing except a few routine acknowledgments. One saying, "We thank you for your interest in this subject."
Cooper says this might be his last hurrah, but he's determined that this Battle of Tarawa will end like the first, with sailors and Marines victorious.
I owe it to the guys that I saw being killed in defense of our country. It's as simple as that.
Bill Whitaker, CBS News, Malibu.
And that's the CBS Evening News. I'm Russ Mitchell. Katie's back tomorrow, and I'll see you first thing in the morning on The Early Show. Good night.
Showers and storms rolling through the mid-state during the day today, and more could be on the way. I'll have your full forecast up next.
People across the mid-state are coming together today to remember those who have given their lives to protect our freedom. Students in one mid-state county had to go to school today despite it being a national holiday, and it left a lot of parents and veterans very upset. And the price of gas is still going up. We will show you how it's affecting voters.
From your news and information leader, Tennessee's first and only local news in high definition. This is News Channel 5 at 6.
We've put thousands of flags out on all of the veterans' graves.
In more ways than one, Middle Tennessee honors the men and women who have served our country. Good evening, everyone. Rory and Vicki are both off today. We will get to our Memorial Day coverage here in just a moment. But first, several storms rolled through the mid-state this afternoon, creating a lot of lightning. Meteorologist Kelly Cox is tracking everything in the Storm 5 HD Weather Center.
A lot of lightning, a lot of wind, a lot of rain out there across Middle Tennessee. It's been a dreary day at times across the area, Kristen. And as you can see behind me, we still got the gray clouds across much Middle Tennessee and still a lot of rain.